I'm Leon from Lenovo.
I've gate crashed the last two meetings, so they know who I am, but I actually report into Leon, so yeah, there's the line.
So you're just here with your boss. No pressure.
No pressure at all, no pressure. No,
I will let him talk more.
I gate crashed all the meetings. I think if there's anything, I think the idea there is because I'm from Australia and run the Australian business today, if there's any questions that are relevant to the local market, I can help answer
So
those too.
how popular has the dual screen book been in Australia, and how
It's
popular?
been really popular. Yeah, it's surprised us, and I think probably after being locked in a room for 3 years through COVID, everyone's gotten used to multiple screens, and so post COVID and getting back into the real world, it's hard to travel on a single screen. I brought my 15-inch external monitor here. I'd be lost without it. So I think it gives you a flexibility that we didn't have before that, and the sales results are quite strong too. Surprising. I think we had an issue with ramping production to cater for the demand. Not big numbers, it's still a niche product at that price point. I think they're 3,999 in Australia from memory. We might go on promo at 3,499 or thereabouts, but yeah, it's a very popular product within those price spaces.
Well, from memory, the Asus product with the folding screen was even more expensive, and it had the fold in it, so it wasn't it was quite thick when you folded it up, whereas this is a thinner
It's good,
product.
and I think it's versatile too because it can fold back on itself, so you can be presenting from two sides.
Yeah.
If you're meeting somebody in a coffee shop and want to deliver a PowerPoint presentation, you can see on your side the person opposite you's got the opposing side too, which is good. And then tablet, pen, there's a bunch of it's good. But so it's sold surprisingly well. It's not a volume mover. It's a product that sits at a space, but super successful. Range nationally at all retailers, if not in store, online everywhere.
And I think you answered this before, but the next model, the one that we saw here, is going to start shipping soon, right?
All of the new X90 products are currently inbound into Australia. So the actual on-shelf date, it varies by product, but the intent is to have those May, June timeframe, tax time.
Sure. And do these ones have the Intel Core Ultra?
All of them do ship with the Intel Core Ultra CPU, yes. I mean, that launched in December, and that's we were waiting on that in terms of to be able to skew them into the designs. Predominantly, Ultra was in that premium raft of products, 7s and 9 series. So to your earlier question about gaming, not in there, but really the focus has been, I think, in terms of ultra portable, which is a key price segment too, in terms of growth.
So what has been kind of the biggest, what is the most unexpected thing that's been driving people to buy laptops in Australia the past year? Like how have the trends changed with the world?
We were talking about it before. I think when we look at the categories of PCs sold across Asia Pacific, but in Australia, gaming is one of the categories that's actually driven positive premiums, positive gains in market, which has surprised everyone because the market's gone backwards, right? Last year, -10%, -15% in terms of sales versus the prior year. And now for the first time we're seeing some regains there. But gaming was a category across the industry that didn't really show too much decline at all. And in fact, it was, I think, in some months, 40% growth. So it was strong. It's targeted, right? A lot of the growth of gaming can be stimulated by the release of a gaming title. It's very important to the following that it would have. So I think gaming is a surprise category because it continues to be strong. And people are prepared to pay top dollar for those devices to get the bleeding edge performance that they're chasing.
So what product do you see the highest volume of out of the non-gaming stuff?
Very, very tough question. I think we're fortunate. We've been the fastest growing brand in retail now for the last 5 years. We've become the #1 outright Windows PC brand. And with that, we've got growth across every single price band, every single category. For us, probably the big shift in terms of the over the course of the 3 years has been the pushing into premium and the pushing into gaming. So premium, I think we've got a phenomenal line of business there. I think shipments last quarter were 25% premium mix, which is strong in those price bands when you consider where it sits. Starting price point, Yoga really is sort of $1,699, $1,799, and then up to $3,000. So that's a good improvement in terms of where we play. And then now for us, the focus is on gaming and trying to drive growth there. And again, in the last couple of quarters, we've seen some really good penetration, I would say, across all retailers. We've been in certain retailers, but now we're broadly spaced.
And this is a very broad question, but within like a segment, or say with gaming laptops or any of the like, you know, the yoga machines, do you see more volume in the like lower end spec, or like where does the volume?
It varies. Like for us, we have been with Yoga 6 obviously is not as high as Yoga 7. Yoga 7 for us seems to have really found a sweet spot in the marketplace in terms of the features and the benefits and the form factor. So we sell as a price, you know, typically speaking, because it's a more expensive product, you sell less, right? But in actual fact, our sales of Yoga 7 would eclipse Yoga 6.
Yeah.
We obviously place products where we think the retailers are best suited as well, so there's a curation of that. And then from a gaming standpoint, I think what we've seen is in more recent times, huge competition and compression of those opening price points. And it's very crowded, and it's not that it's hard to compete, but it's quite cluttered.
Yeah.
And the retailers are probably less inclined to want a cluttered offering. They're trying to now get out of that space and focus on their premium assortments.
Yep.
So again, we've got retailers that wouldn't typically be your home for a Legion device, but are now ranging them nationally.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, we've seen some really, really good uptake on that. Our forecasts, as we look forward in terms of the retail partner forecasts, they're strong on Legion, really strong, which is not what I would have thought, to answer your question in terms of what is a surprise. Yeah.
But it's also because it's a kick-ass business machine because it's so powerful?
I think there's that, but I think Legion for us has, you know, we've not been in market with Legion for the longest of times. We've only been in retail in Australia for 7 years. And you've got to build that brand reputation, and I think we've managed to do that now over the last year or so. So we've gotten that traction. I think when you look at it, the gamers are really well read. They're looking at all of the things you're writing, all of the press releases, all of the tech, you know, reviews. And I think the fact that we don't throttle our devices, I think, is quite broadly known in that space. You know, the astute gamer is on his PC all day long, every day, or she, and they're researching, and so they're going to buy whatever gets the better benchmark performance scores and the better reviews. So again, I probably shouldn't talk to retailers, but we've got products in retailers that you wouldn't think could sell those products, and they're selling $8,000 notebooks every single week online. Yeah, it's crazy. So it's good. But I think it's to answer your question, it's a bit of everything. The awareness of the product now, we've got some good awareness of Legion in Australia, but also the fact that the performance characteristics are strong, and the public reviews are also great.
And how are the Australian trends kind of comparing to the broader worldwide trends for Lenovo?
Leon, you'd be closer to.
Yeah, I was going to say,
worldwide
I was going to ask the same question.
global.
How is Australia, how are our sales matching up with the Asia Pacific sales?
I think Australia, I have to say, it's more close to maybe US or EMEA market. Yeah, because it's retail centric. While Asia Pacific is very different, and because of the income also different, so that the majority of the trend, even the premium mix, I think Australia is much higher. Yeah. But one trend is similar, is that gaming is growing everywhere. Even India have a very significant growth on the gaming. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is, going back to your question, more specifically, what is the most popular Lenovo laptop in Australia? Which one?
And then compare that with the most popular one in Asia Pacific.
Yeah.
Look, I think for us, Flex 5 is a great volume runner for us in terms of the mainstream. Yoga 7 is incredibly popular. And again, I think we see spikes week in, week out based on the retail sales behaviour. We're on promotion, we're off promotion. I think we've conditioned the shopper to wait for the promotion too, so we get good spikes on Yoga 7 when it's on promotion. So there's people there waiting for it. When it's on promotion, like if we're doing a yoga or a premium discounted phase of the cycle, we'll get a good uptick on that. So hard to say categorically, but our middle tier products, our 5 series, 3 series drive good volumes. They're also configured too in terms of one product will tap out in terms of its capabilities, and then we'll go to the next series, which unlocks more. So, but our volumes are quite consistent.
And then how do those two models compare? Like, are they just generally in the markets they're most comparable to Australia? Are those ones generally just most popular everywhere, or are we?
I think across Asia Pacific, and again, I'm going into a new job April 1, and when I look at the data, it's more heavily centred around IdeaPad 1 series, IdeaPad 3 series. You might be tapping out at 5, and then to Leon's point, gaming is popular everywhere.
Yeah, cool.
So Yoga 6, Yoga 7, Yoga 9s, probably less so. In Japan, probably sells still quite well, right?
Yeah, because they also like something
Yeah,
similar, like
yeah.
even Slim 5,
Yeah.
they're also doing well there. Yeah.
Do you guys have any information, or do you track anything to do with like education stuff in Australia?
So we have a dedicated commercial/education team that drives direct education sales. Through retail, obviously we have a big motion around the BYOD season, the back to school season. So we see, you know, if you look at what we're shipping, and we ship in the kind of devices that are suitable for education.
Yeah.
Chromebook is a particularly high seasonally demanded product. We'll do twice the volume of a Chromebook during January and February of the year, let's say. Retailers themselves don't necessarily track that at all.
Yeah.
So we don't track it. We plan for those spikes in terms of we know when the trend of the peak education buying cycle is.
Yeah.
And assort accordingly. But again, it's really back to school, Chromebook, sub sort of $800 is probably where you're going to be buying that product.
Yeah.
Get a bit of a burst in Christmas too, because the parents get to kill two birds with one stone. They bought a device for their child for Christmas that is also then beneficial to school and learning. And then we get back to university, which is a few weeks later, and at which point we obviously get a different subset of products moving up the stack.
So what sort of products are popular for university?
Again, your Yoga 7s, your Yoga 6s, those types of devices. Yeah.
What impact has inflation had on trying to keep the prices down whilst, you know, having to deal with the reality of rising costs?
We are somewhat of an anomaly, right? We have had, we like I said, we're the fastest growing PC brand through retail now for the last 4 or 5 years. We grew last year. We were the only PC brand to still drive compound growth year over year for 5 years straight now. When you assess the market went backwards. So we're fortunate. We're very happy with what we are driving today. But I think certainly it's slowed the market down. We've been unaffected.
And do you think the whole AI PC thing, which it's happening whether people want it to or not? I mean, all the new PCs are going to be AI PCs, or at least eventually they're all going to be. You know, there'll be this shift. But do you think it's really going to be something that's going to drive a lot of sales, or not?
I think it's really, really exciting. Obviously, we know the forward-looking roadmap and what's to come and everything else. I think from where we're sitting today, the back end of the year is really exciting because you're going to get all of these things that are in market today coming together. There was a conversation before about, you know, there's different flavours and offerings from different, you know, companies and brands, and that's true. But I think by the end of the year, there'll be a conversion of all of those things in a roundabout way. Not totally, but I think when that happens, it's quite exciting. And again, it's how big is your imagination. If you can think about an application, you can probably create that with AI.
Leon, from your perspective, how have you seen consumers respond to AI? So we know how all the tech people feel about AI, but how about consumers? How much do they actually care?
Yeah, I think from a perspective, I think consumer maybe as of now they are maybe confused. What is AI? What kind of AI that can bring to them to make? But according to the statistics that we have done, still 66% of the consumer believe that within 3 to 5 years that their life will change due to the AI. And even from the, I think from IDC, that kind of projections, maybe even until 2026, maybe 75% of the total market across the world will be AI PC. But of course, the definition of AI is very broad, including everything that, So we think that at this kind of stage that we need to be, you know, take the lead and then to deliver something to win in the final competition. Yeah.
Well, onto your point about how AI is being used quite willy-nilly and kind of now means everything. Do you think that's been a mistake? Do you think there needs to be kind of a change in how tech companies talk about AI to make it more specifically AI, or do you think it's fine that everything is broad and AI now?
It's a very tough question to answer.
I think every company is going to look for their own unique angle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we've got today. We've got a lot of companies with their own unique angle, and I think there's some really exciting applications out there today. But again, I think it's always, you know, a coming together of all of the best bits of all of those factors that give you the better offer, and that is, I think, what's the most exciting about Peace in terms of where we're sitting today. I think there's a lot to look forward to.
So can you remind us what the Lenovo unique
No.
offer on AI is?
We'll be talking about all of these things in the second half.
But aren't we also technically talking about all those things today? Because we're talking about
We are. Look, I
zone,
mean,
we're talking
again,
about-
so here's the thing. I think today what you've got is products available in retail today that have all of this capability, but not out of the box. In terms of you don't turn it on and it's already loaded with all of these things that are amazing. And that's the stuff I'm talking about. In the second half of the year, you're going to have products out of the box that have a capability native to the design, and you don't have to go looking, you know.
Well, for the people listening at home, this is presumably to do with the next update to Windows 11, which is going to have all
Not
that.
necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, you can allude to that, but yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad, because that's always the question. What are these
Yeah.
mysterious AI applications? I mean, you keep hearing about, it's the Zoom background that can...
Yeah.
Well, we've already got that. It's in Zoom. You know, or noise
True,
cancelling.
true.
But clearly there's lots more to come, so that's exciting.
It's exciting. It's exciting. And I think, you know, in terms of who wants AI today, I think we're not selling a solution today. I think when we start selling a solution through retail and demonstrating the capabilities to a consumer in a store, they will want it. And that's what I think is the exciting piece.
And
This
then-
is the key transformation, I have to say. We transform ourselves as a device maker to solution provider. Yeah.
So, that's kind of your point talking about solutions. AI is kind of a suggestion, but not necessarily a solution to any problem anyone's actually having. This new range of Lenovo devices, what problems are they solving that people currently have?
I really like the thing that I mentioned before, the idea of being able to have a conversation with somebody in a foreign language, and the PC is doing all of that translation.
But I'm less meaning AI, I more mean these specific devices
Yeah.
that you're releasing today. What do you think is the most important part of them? What do you think is the thing that people should know about that they can do that they couldn't do before?
In AI with AI.
In general.
So not
So
an
not
AI
even
question.
not an AI
Apologies,
question
I
at
thought it was
all.
an AI
Really
question.
away from
yeah.
AI.
Yeah, okay. I mean, look, with every iteration, they get thinner, lighter, faster, with better battery life. I think that's always been the thing that people have been looking for. But I think with the applications getting better and stronger, and Copilot is available today, and people are starting to use that, I think that's something that is intriguing people as well right now.
But that's not, okay.
So let me have another question.
No, so just me kind of, what is the exciting thing this year about this range of Lenovo devices? What is the new thing that only they can give people?
Look, it's a tough question. We're packing more and more technology into the same form factor or same footprint at the same price points. I mean, the screen resolutions, the color accuracy, and all of these things at those price points, it's all coming down. So the availability of those features, it's becoming more affordable. You know what I mean? You're getting a better product for a better device for your same level of investment previously. I'm not answering this question very well. I know this.
No, I think still it's about the end user experience that can make difference.
Yeah, of course.
But again, that it's related to that what kind of a solution we can provide. And as of now, that we didn't disclose too much in this. We only disclosed the creator zone, right? But I have to tell you that there's more things to come out from the solutions that in the pipeline, and it's more on the AI, generated AI. So that I think that can create some difference, yeah,
Okay.
and to make your work or your content generations more easier, yeah,
So stay tuned.
yeah.
I mean, part of what you're saying is that buying these future-proofs you, so that you get native access to these things that are coming later this year,
There's
and
a lot
also,
coming down, yeah.
and also the reality is that people have to upgrade at some point. You know, if your computer's getting a bit too old, you have to upgrade it at some point. And these are new machines, and so you know you can wait another year, you can wait for as long as you want. But if you have to buy a new machine, you have to buy a new machine.
Well, yeah, that's
And-
true every
and-
year, so I know it's
yeah.
this year.
And these ones are your newest ones. best ones you made thus far.
Look, I think the new stuff today with the ultra processors deliver a capability that was not there before. I mean, it could possibly perform the same task, but it would use a whole lot more power and take a whole load of extra time. So there's
And that's
definitely.
the quote I was looking for. Thank you.
But that's more of an Intel Core Ultra thing than a Lenovo thing.
Yeah.
Although it's the complete
It
package.
is. I'm ex-Intel, so I would say that Intel is, and they recognise themselves as an ingredient brand. So they are as reliant as we are on them. They're they're reliant on us. We've got to put that into a package and be in market and selling this, bringing it to life, as it were. So I think there's So it's definitely an Intel innovation that's allowed that, but it's a partnership.
So the laptops and the range that you've launched this time. So and you're talking about the more features to come in terms of like the AI space and that. Do you have any expectations of features to come that then won't be fully supported on the current hardware? Like, so in your timeline, in a year, 2 years, are there any things that you in the future happening that won't run on these laptops?
I don't see any obsolescence. I just see things getting faster. When you look at the roadmap of all of the silicon providers, public roadmaps and what have you, you can see the narrative. You can see what they're talking to in terms of tops and trillions of operations per second. And there's a starting point and then there's an end game, right? So we're going to push tops. Tops will get bigger and faster. And I think with that, the products that have those tops today will still continue to work, but they just won't be as good as the products that have got 3 and 4 and 5 times as many tops. And that's, I think, that's very new in our industry. We've never ever talked about tops, really. So I think, where it's been CPU, processor, RAM, graphics controller, it's now tops as well. And probably that conversation for AI PCs is the new norm that will sort of replace some of those other components that we're talking to. So it's all about tops. I think if in terms of all of the developments that happen over the next 2 or 3 or 4 years, I think the products will still work, but the push on tops is what's going to make you want to upgrade, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're 5 minutes left. Last questions, please.
So, last generation of Lenovo laptops, these features that you've got coming, will they still be supported on the older generation but just running, like on the GPU and CPU?
Yeah, there's no obsolescence.
Yeah.
So they'll still function. It's just that as we start adding tops and our capability in offloading from the CPU to an NPU, you're going to get significant benefits. And I think that's the race now. You're going to get a race for the most number of tops within the silicon space, and a race from a PC manufacturer's point of view to get those tops into the PC packaged and deliver an experience. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just from what you're saying, later this year, there's going to be things that will really push forward the idea that you want to upgrade to an AI PC. And if you buy it now, then the machine's fully capable of doing that. But I mean, every manufacturer always has another reason for you to buy a $5,000 PC or TV or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And as time goes by, the reasons get better. And someone's still on a 10-year-old Windows PC running Windows 10, like they can still run it, but it's just not going to be anywhere near as smooth or nice as a brand new machine.
I've been in my current role for 5 years, and I can honestly say that the second half of this year is very exciting.
Given that all the big stuff is happening in the second half of this year, were you tempted to delay the launch of these laptops until the exciting stuff was happening?
New stuff happens every year.
Well, it does, but if the exciting stuff is happening in the second half of the year, wouldn't you want the new exciting products to launch at the same time as the exciting thing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But then
There's new stuff happening every year. There's new products
always
launched every year. The development of the products that will ship late next year started probably 2 or 3 years ago, and so on for the preceding products.
Of course, but every time we ask about what is the exciting thing, you say, I can't tell you now, I can tell you in 6 months. So then I just wonder, why not just launch the thing when you can talk about the exciting
We'll just
stuff?
launched,
because they've got to have new products in the market.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the product we've just launched now has the latest and greatest technology
I
in
know.
it. Yeah. So every year there's more latest and greatest.
Of course.
Were there any of those exciting things that you were hoping would be ready for this event or this launch?
I think we've got it in the silicon that we have here. Like I say, it's around the whole experience. And again, I think for me, So let me talk to my excitement for the back end of the year. My excitement is that products will have stuff out of the box. That's the difference. It's really hard to sell a product in retail today that doesn't have all of these things on the box, on display in stores. You've got to then, in terms of it's a laboursome effort. We've got to scale up our entire field team to go to visit, over 1,000 retail stores to go and install applications and demoware. And that's not always possible, and certainly not at launch. Yeah, it could take 3 months through an entire cycle of all of the retail stores to go and add third-party applications and software. So I think that for me is exciting, because all of a sudden we're shipping products that have got this capability built in, and when it's put on display in a retail store, JB Hi-Fi, Harvey Norman, Officeworks, the Good Guys, any of those retailers, there's experiences that can be demonstrated and showcased on the day that it's out of the box. And that's really, I think, critical. And at which point people are going to the awareness of it will be a lot higher. The people's intent to buy will be a lot higher.
Was your question more kind of, were the exciting things in the second half of the year supposed to be in the first half of the year originally? Were they delayed?
Yeah, was there anything that you...
No.
Okay.
No, our roadmap is our roadmap. Our roadmap is somewhat tied to the Silicon 2 in terms of when Intel's next processor is released and AMD.
And I still think
But
you should.
solid time.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well,
Sorry,
I still think you should try and do a deal to have some Copilot Pro, even if it's only 2 or 3 months. But I'd try for a whole year.
It's pretty good, isn't it? I've been playing with it at home. It's
Well, it's like ChatGPT 4
yeah.
as opposed to 3.5. But I'm just saying, because as I said before, the very first thing that's going to happen is people are going to click that button on the keyboard, and the first thing you see is the Copilot box, and the first thing you see from Microsoft is upgrade to Pro. It's like, well, do a deal where you're giving Pro for free for a bit. Even though Microsoft's doing it, you give extra on top. Try it.
See what we can do.
Yeah.